A variety of really good D&D YouTubers are saying DungeonTube is dying. Is it? Hey there, adventurers. I'm Judd, and this is Short Rest Studios, where we believe fun builds community. I don't usually do these kinds of videos, but there is something happening on YouTube that has a lot of creators rethinking their strategies and even straight up quitting the platform. From my perspective, there are a couple of things that have changed over the past year that have created this shift. But I'll get to that after we look at what some other creators are saying. And later on, all that's going to lead to what I think is happening and what I think the future looks like. Professor DM over on DungeonCraft did a video last week called DungeonTube is Dying. Here's why. Look at Roll for Combat's latest. As of the recording of this video, you killed D&D DungeonTube. I did not watch this video. I just thought this was a pretty hilarious stance to take. The DM Layer and Bonus Reaction have done some videos reacting to this too. And earlier this year, How to Be a Great GM told us he was quitting because he wasn't getting views anymore. Creators blame the algorithm or even the audience, as in the case of Roll for Combat. And it's true, the algorithm isn't perfect. I don't even think the folks at YouTube actually know how the algorithm works. Professor DM went through a whole rundown of how it works based on some kind of YouTube annual report, but I haven't been able to find that. It sounds reasonable enough, but the fact is we don't know. So here's the first thing I think has led to this dying of DungeonTube perception. YouTube is a tech company. And tech companies are constantly upgrading and changing their products, especially software. So yeah, the algorithm has changed. And it's probably affected my views and others' views. What we do actually know about the YouTube algorithm, though, is that it's designed to serve people content it believes they'll like based on their past behavior. We also know that subscriber counts don't really matter anymore. The analytics that matter are click-through rate, the percentage of people shown the video that actually click on it, and a metric that admittedly sometimes looks pretty wonky, and view duration. Basically, one of my videos captures your attention enough to get you to click on it and then keeps your attention for long enough, that video will probably do well. In Professor DM's video, he tells us that his views are generally down and that he's not going to do crafting videos anymore because the views they get, and by extension, the revenue they generate, aren't worth the extreme effort of creating them. And I can vouch for that. I've made a few crafting videos, and even the simplest ones take a ton of work. He talks about DM advice videos and actual plays suffering, and he's not wrong. Incidentally, that's Professor DM's most viewed video by far since his interview with Matt and Travis from Critical Role a couple months ago. We can also see that a lot of the creators who have been the bigger players in the TTRPG space, like D&D Shorts, Jenny D, Bob Worldbuilder, Professor DM, have seen views decrease this year, especially in recent months. Before we get into what I think is really going on, here's the second thing that has led to this perception that D&D YouTube is dying. The technology isn't the only thing that's changed. Audience behavior and interests are different. Tons of new people came into the hobby in the last decade. Creators started popping off during the pandemic with great DM advice or character build videos, and now that audience is more seasoned. They don't really need that DM advice anymore. Maybe that's got something to do with the downturn. And of course, there are higher expectations. At the same time, a lot of viewers are tending to like less polished videos. There might be so much DM advice out there that you've got to have a really unique take to get that kind of video noticed. And actual plays are hard to do well. As Bonus Reaction points out, most of the actual plays out there don't even seem to be trying to make effective titles and thumbnails or to structure their videos in a way that works well on YouTube. So they don't do well. So what do I really think is happening? Channels like Mystic Arts and Deficient Master are doing pretty darn well making DM advice videos. Deficient is funny and unique and fast-paced, and Dottie on Mystic Arts is just so chill and smart, you just want to relax with a cup of coffee and listen to him talk. These channels have unique takes on the DM advice video that people are drawn to. And actual plays, well, Critical Role is doing great. You have to consider that any actual play video on YouTube is automatically competing with the talent and production values of CR. And I don't know if anybody really can. Certainly not a group of friends just playing D&D online. For better or worse, the audience is going to expect certain things from an actual play, and the great majority just don't deliver. If I were going to do one, it would be an in-person game. It would be edited and presented well, and I would have hand-picked players that I believed would be engaging on camera, and that's just a starting point. It'd be a ton of work to do it well. If we look back at Professor DM's video, I don't think his premise is correct. D&D YouTube is not dying. If the channels that have been here for a while die, there are new up-and-coming creators who are making their mark in the space. If existing creators can't figure out how to pivot, they won't make it. And the fact of the matter is that's always been the case with YouTube. In the 3 years that I've been on the platform, most of it has been a struggle just to figure out what people will respond to from week to week. Since the algorithm is a black box to all of us, a lot of the time I am very tempted to blame it when a video doesn't do well. But it's really about connecting with the audience. I have to present something that intrigues you enough to get you to click, and then I have to keep your attention. And sometimes I'm better at that than others. I wish I were better at it more consistently. I said it already, a lot of creators in the space have seen an overall downturn in 2025. Short Rest Studios is not a big channel by any means, but 2025 has been my best year. It's been my best year for revenue. I do not make much money from YouTube. If you don't know, you have to earn $100 in ad revenue before you can actually receive a paycheck from YouTube. I've actually managed to do that every month this year, sometimes barely. I have a small community on Patreon for which I am extremely grateful. I have a couple of affiliate deals that provide me with a little bit of money periodically. None of that is enough to live on, by the way. It's been my best year for subscriber growth. I've already said that subs isn't really a number that matters to the algorithm, but it's still encouraging to have seen it double this year. And this year alone, my videos have gotten almost double the views of the previous 2 years combined. Now, the last month or so has really sucked comparatively, and that's really discouraging. But what's actually happening is not that D&D YouTube is dying. The algorithm isn't cratering our views, not all the time. It's not even that in certain seasons people watch YouTube less, though that's certainly happening. What's happening is the landscape is shifting. And Professor DM was right about this. We creators have to shift with it if we want our channels to survive. So what does that look like for Short Rest Studios? I don't know. This is going to be my last video for 2025. I'm taking some time to focus on my family over the holidays, but I'm also going to take some time to try to strategize a necessary shift for 2026. And it's tough because I do have a loyal audience and I do not want to alienate you. I love making this content and I want to keep doing it. I can promise you 2 things for the future. I'm not ready to quit. Short Rest Studios will still be here this time next year, and things are going to look a little different. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, adventurers. DungeonTube isn't dead. I'll see you in 2026.